It's the beginning of day 2. I didn't film at all yesterday. I guess I just wasn't feeling it. Wasn't in the mood to get the camera out. But we're at Bly Gap this morning. This is where we spent the night. No one's here anymore. We're kind of getting a late start, I guess, today. Let's see, what time is it? It is 9:45 right now. This was filled with tents, and we just packed ours up. And this is the famous gnarled tree that kind of marks Bly Gap. Windstorm kind of broke it a little bit, but it's a pretty cool tree. It looks awesome in here when the foliage is full. So, but what yesterday entailed of is we hiked 9 miles total yesterday. We got a shuttle to Dix Creek Gap, hiked 9 miles north, made it here. My eyes, I feel really puffy. I barely got any sleep last night. It is so windy and it's so cold, and I think I get like poor circulation in my feet, and my feet were so cold I could barely sleep last night. But I was awake at like 2 a.m. last night, and I heard there was some small animal under our rain fly with us. Like, it wasn't in our tent, but it was in our rain fly with us. And I don't know what it was. I never bothered looking up. I was too scared for it to see me and freak out and like attack me. This is the fire pit we used last night. It's really nice because, like, I guess I don't know if it's the shape of the mountain, but the wind always comes in this direction. So I'm smart enough to put up this big flat rock right here, and it really helps the fire stay alive at night. And looking down the hill right here, this is like the beginning of North Carolina for the trail, and you could look down this mountain, and down there in the valley it was just lit up with other people's campfires, and it looked really cool. It was just dotted with little yellow flames everywhere down there. Alright, I have 2 questions for you after your first day of backpacking.
What?
First one is, if you were on that show Naked and Afraid, what one thing would you bring with you? What was most valuable yesterday?
Water.
Water? So like a water filter probably for that show?
Yeah.
I had another one. You probably learned a few new things yesterday. What was like the most surprising or the coolest thing you learned?
To just not ask people about the Appalachian Trail because I don't know shit about it.
Beginning of day 3, I meant to film last night and I just didn't, and the GoPro's already dead for some reason. I must have been on in my pocket the entire time. But we're finally back where we started. This parking lot is where we originally got dropped off, and yeah, like we said, this is Dix Creek Gap. We had gone that way 9 miles and back, and now we're headed this way. And it's supposed to rain all day, yay! We just watched some thru hikers get dropped off by a shuttle and begin northbound, and his friend said something along the lines of, "What do we do now?" or "What do you want to do?" And his friend said, "I just follow white things. That's what we're here to do, is follow white things." Alright, I get to walk on some flat land for a second so I can talk without huffing and puffing too hard. Before I forgot, I need to do a recap of day 2 because some pretty cool stuff happened. For one, so we got started off of Bly Gap. Only about 3 miles into our hike yesterday, we came across a truck, and they had a Big Green Egg grill out, and they were going out hot dogs and hamburgers for any of the but I know that she's like really outdoorsy. Like, she does a lot of hiking, a lot of kayaking and stuff like that. So it makes sense that if I was going to see anybody I knew out here, it'd be her. I'm not wearing it right now. I was wearing it earlier. The Appalachian Trail buff that I wear on my head a lot, she had one of those too. I was like, twinsies. Alright, so we're filling up on some water right now using our filter.
This is a pretty cool spot. You gotta crawl under this log to get over here. The trail's up there. You can see my bag up there. But this is our filter. And we already filled my bottle up. Now we're gonna...
Got a good grip on it?
Not really. Hold on. It's real foggy this morning. Looks cool though.
Beginning of day 4, and that's the shelter we slept in last night. Today will be a relatively easy day because, well, first of all, yesterday we accomplished 10.6 miles. It was hard, but we did it. We were really proud of ourselves. Goal today is just 5.6. We're trying to get to the road that gets us to Helen. We're going to call a shuttle and go spend the night in Helen tonight. And yeah, today's only about a 5.6 day. We're thinking about taking a 0 day, but I don't think that's realistic if we're going to get to our car by the end of spring break. But today's relatively easy, and we might let tomorrow be real easy too. We might only hike 3 miles tomorrow to get to the next shelter, because we just can't risk taking a 0 day, but we'll just let the next 2 days be pretty easy. So I don't know if you can tell, maybe use my black jacket as a background, but there are flurries today. I don't know if you can see them. It is snowing a little bit. I'd rather it snow than rain like it did yesterday though, because I mean the snow can fall on us and we're not necessarily gonna get wet. And I don't have to go put my hat on just so I have to put my hood up or anything, because when I put this hood on it just straight up covers my eyes. There's no way to stop it unless I have the bill on my hat. Just push it out of the way. So I don't know at what point we're gonna summit Trey Mountain. That shelter we slept in last night, that was called Trey Mountain Shelter. Hung out with some really cool people last night that were already sitting in their sleeping bags when we showed up. We were real scared there was not going to be room for us to sleep in that shelter. We were desperate to try to sleep in a shelter for once, because people tend to claim their spot in a shelter at 2:30 in the afternoon. They find a shelter and they're like, okay, we're not hiking until it's dark, we're stopping here. So we didn't show up till 5:30. So I was really scared there's not going to be any room for us. And I look at my map and it said the capacity for that shelter is 7 people. And luckily only 3 people were in there so far. So we got to sleep in there. One of the guys sleeping next to us swore that he heard mice all night. Never woke me up or anything, never saw one, never heard one. I believe him though, I bet they're there. He said if you go around back behind the shelter, there's mice feces and raccoon feces. My biggest mistake since I've been out here is, and I know you should do it this way, but I just didn't, have hiking socks and sleeping socks. The sleeping socks you don't put on until your sleeping bag is rolled out and you're just ready to lay down for the night. Because your hiking socks will get wet, whether it's from rain or walking through a creek or just sweat or whatever. So all of my socks are wet right now. All of them are soaking wet. But Jake packed the 3rd pair, and luckily I get to wear some of his socks right now. But when we get to Helen, we'll go to a laundromat. We'll clean everything. I can't wait to have clean everything again. These ski pants I'm wearing are so muddy. I'm gonna clean them. So some thru hikers assured me that being on the trail will make you crave things you don't usually crave at home, because sometimes you just start eating the same thing day in and day out. You just stick to granola bars and trail mix all the time, that you start to want almost any food that you can't have out here. And I've already experienced that. Like, for example, if I ever go to a barbecue place, I don't necessarily pork isn't my first option. I've never had mind-blowingly good pork that makes me always want it. Pork is just not my thing. There's sometimes, there's usually other things to have at barbecue places. I usually choose those instead. But since I've been out here, I've been wanting some barbecue pork. And then the other thing that I'm wanting when we get to Helen is, like, I'm not a soda person. Like, in fact, I'm pretty anti-soda. But you know what? I want a dang Dr. Pepper when we get to Helen. Speaking of cravings, Jake just turned around to me and said, dude, when we get to Helen, he held his hand up like this. He's like, I am just getting a burger. He said, I want a burger so bad. Yeah, but some of the hikers we were talking to the other day, what they had to say about cravings is they said when they had a day at Helen, they went to Wendy's and Taco Bell in the same meal and had food at both because they were just like craving so many different things. So the most magical thing ever just happened to us. We came across another trail angel. He was right in the middle of setting up his car, was setting out snacks and trying to boil some water to make hot chocolate. We were the first hikers he's seen pass so far this morning. So we stopped and talked to him, and he's like, y'all want any fruit or anything? I don't really have anything else ready yet. I was like, yeah, I'll take an orange. But also, I see you have like a pile of cans of Coke over there. Can I have a Coke? And so I got a little bit of my soda fix. And then he saw me like rubbing my hands together, because I think I mentioned this earlier already, like I have really poor circulation in my hands and feet. He's like, you don't have any gloves? I said no. And he's like, wait right here. And he goes into his the bed of his truck and brings back a pair of gloves. And he said, I wore these when I piloted helicopters in the Air Force? Was he in the Air Force?
No, he was an F-16 pilot in the Air Force.
I just said that. Was he in the Air Force?
Yeah, but I thought you were saying helicopter pilot in the Air Force. No, he was,
Oh, I thought he mentioned helicopters.
yeah, he was a helicopter pilot after.
Oh, okay, okay.
From the Air Force. Oh, hello.
What?
By the way.
Oh, ew. So yeah, so he gave Jake some of his old piloting gloves, and he gave me some of these mittens where your fingers come out the bottom. He just gave us these. Jake was like, do you want anything for these? He's like, nah, just be nice to people. You know, you just gotta pass it on. Be nice to people later on. By the way, the snow is starting to stick to the ground. I didn't think that was gonna happen. But, oh yeah, so shout out to Lionheart. Lionheart was his trail name. Super, super awesome dude. If you ever want a chance to run into him, he likes to post up his big red truck at Bly Gap. That's what we just got through. He likes to post up at Bly Gap probably through March and April, when especially the through hikers are coming through Georgia. Go say hey to him. Pass on the niceness, especially to him. He was amazing. I wanted to stop for a second and show you how well the snow was really sticking. I was not expecting it to stick like this. You can kind of see it in my braid too. The snow is just coating it, and my gloves are kind of getting covered with it too. It feels nice. I don't mind it. It's better than rain. For some perspective on how well your body uses everything you put in it when you're burning 4,500 to 6,500 calories a day like this. Like I said, it's day 4. I have not gone number 2 yet, and I've only peed twice, but I feel like I gotta pee right now, so I'll be number 3 out of 4 days. And can I just point out real quick that some of my favorite trailblazes are the ones not on trees, like just painted onto the rock that you're standing on, or onto this staircase like this. We stopped at, I think it's called like Indian Grave Gap. It's just a gravel road, and he's trying to get service right now. He's gonna go ahead and call the shuttle. Is gonna come take us to Helen. So big jump in events, big change. Obviously you see we're like in civilization now. We're in Helen. We decided we're not gonna have like a total 0 day, but today, as I think I mentioned before, today was easy. We did like 5.5 miles. Tomorrow our plan is only like 4.5 miles. So put those together, you know, only like a day's worth of hiking within 2 days. Instead of taking a 0 day, we're just taking 2 easy days in a row. how did you get into Helen? Because it's like a 16-minute drive away from the trail, you might ask. We hitchhiked. We straight up did the old stick your thumb out on the side of the road, and we got a truck to stop, and we legit hitchhiked to Helen. It was amazing, and it like was in like, well, hitchhiking in general, the whole idea of hitchhiking, yes, is sketchy, but it wasn't sketchy at all because like the dude was like super nice and was in like a really nice big old diesel truck. It was just like, oh, I'm from North Carolina, I'm on my way down to Gainesville, because he's like piecing together a 70 Chevrolet truck, a 72 Chevy by himself, and he's like, I'm just on my way down to Gainesville to pick up a truck bed. And he just, it's like part of his lifestyle. He just, wherever he goes, he'll pick up hitchhikers if he sees them. So we're at Big Daddy's now, and super excited. We got some Terrapin Beyond the Galaxy. I am most likely gonna get the fish tacos. End of day 5. Yes, end of day 5. I didn't feel like filming at all while we were hiking. We had an awesome breakfast in Helen. We usually our breakfast is just like 1 or 2 granola bars, and then we start hiking. But we got a pretty big one in today. You could definitely see that, you could definitely tell it made a difference in the way Jake was hiking, because he usually can't keep up with me when I'm going uphill. He's right behind me the whole time. Also, can I just say that this rainfly to this tent does an amazing job at keeping the wind out. Like, the wind is howling outside right now, and you can't really feel it at all. Yeah, Jake just got in the tent and he was like, it's so much warmer in here. I was like, yeah, you can't feel the winds at all, and just that wind chill makes a huge difference. So as you might be able to tell by my cleaner hair and our cleaner clothes, probably can't see a difference in the clothes, but we got showers and did laundry yesterday too, which was pretty needed. I won't say much needed, because people out here will go like 10 days without either of those things. We only went 4, and we were like, yeah, let's go into town and do laundry and get showers. So as you may remember, the plan was only to hike like 2.6 miles today to the nearest shelter. We were just getting a shuttle back to Unicoi Gap, and then hiking southbound from Unicoi Gap. The first landmark or anything you pretty much find is 2.6 miles in, which is Blue Mountain Shelter. But we kind of decided last night, like, we need to step up our game. Like, tomorrow, like, yesterday was such an easy hike. Like, those 5 miles were nothing, and we just like had such a relaxing afternoon and stuff. By the way, also, so we had Big Daddy's not only for lunch, where we had burgers, but we just went back for dinner too. And he had the fish and chips, and I had fish tacos, which were so good. But we decided last night, no, we need to go further than 2.6 miles. Like, that's embarrassing. So we just kept hoofing it all day. We just kept going and kept going. And we hiked 12 miles today. Bah! Alright, 9 miles into day 6, and we finally made it to my favorite place on the Georgia section. Here's a hint. If you like driving around North Georgia and you've seen this, you know where I am. It's one of the 2 hostels in Georgia. It's called Mountain Crossings. Alright, we've been sitting around Mountain Crossings for a while. We each got beanies. Oh, you're not wearing yours! That says right there.
Beanie.
Yeah, we got beanies because, like, I've been wearing the buff on my head, and it's just, it wasn't enough. Especially with this wind. Like, let me tell you, like, the wind is showing no mercy today. It is whipping, it is biting, it just sucks so much. But we're also waiting on, we bought like a frozen pizza here, and as soon as you buy frozen pizza here, they take it to the back and like put it in the oven or whatever. So we're still waiting on that to come out. What else? We also bought some Cokes. And before we leave and after we eat our pizza, we still got to restock on some food. We still need jerky and granola bars and some trail mix and stuff because we're pretty much all out of that. All we have right now is like 1 square of ramen and 2 packets of tuna. That's all the food we have left. Alright, that was a nice refresher. It was a nice break. We shook off a few things. For example, Jake brought, I thought we'd need them. We both thought we would want to use them, but Jake had brought like trail showers, like wipes that come like a real big, like in a wet wipes pack, meant to bathe your whole body with. We don't have any water out here. Sorry, going uphill, huffing and puffing. We found out we're never gonna use them. It's way too cold to like strip down and then rub a wet wipe all over you. Oh no, way too cold. So we put those in the hiker box, which is where if you're tired of lugging something around and you want someone else to get some use of it, you just throw it in the hiker box. I looked through the hiker box and I found us a free ultralight tarp. We have a tarp now. Don't know if we'll need it. We haven't needed one yet. They come in handy in case you want to use it as a tent footprint so you don't rip up your tent too much. Or use it as like, you can double up on protection from the wind or the rain. So now we're going uphill for a while because right after Neil Gap, if you're coming southbound at least, right after Neil Gap, you're making your way up the tallest mountain that's part of the Georgia Appalachian. So tonight we're probably going to be camping at the highest altitude we'll see all week. We might walk right past it, you know, we might spend a few minutes at the very peak. We know for sure that if we just want to press on like half a mile, then there's another campground there if we don't want to stay on the tippy top where the wind might be the worst. We'll be walking up for about 2.4 miles. We've probably already hiked like 0.2 miles. Oh, there goes my ankle. So, but if we're going uphill most of the time, I'm gonna give these 2-ish miles 2 hours to hike. We did it, we're at the top. This is the top of Blood Mountain. I don't know if I can make exposure any better. You can see it better. It goes on and on and on. It's really awesome. Yeah, highest elevation on the Georgia AT. And we're not gonna do the extra half mile tonight. We're probably gonna stay in the shelter. There's a lot of places up here to just like let your feet dangle if you wanted to. A lot of what do you call it, like rock overhangs. There's the top of the shelter. If I was a bivvy camper, I would camp in weird spots like this little crevice right here. People just hate tarps as soon as they get on the Blood Mountain. Look at all these tarps people are leaving. I guess this is 3 plus the one I just picked up in Mountain Crossings. That was huge, and there's no way that's ultralight. That's crazy. So the final tally today is like 10.8 miles. And we're in, let me see if I can change the, yeah, there's the window. We're in the shelter in our tent. Maximum heat, maximum power. Also, pretty much every night we've slept in the tent so far. Anytime the wind rustles the leaves around, I'm terrified that there's an animal outside. So I like clogged the doorway with all those extra tarps that just got left here so that I can like hopefully be, I'm gonna like block this on like this. I can be more at ease. Oh, it's not working. There we go. And like, there's no reason to think an animal's anywhere near us unless those tarps rustle, so.
Is it your foot? I want to see it.
9 miles into day 7, and we slept on top of Blood Mountain last night, came down, summited Big Cedar Mountain, came down off of that, and now we're at Bly Gap.
you know, you hear people talk about Blood Mountain, but not so much Big Cedar Mountain. Big Cedar Mountain has amazing views. I think if you had to choose one or the other to be a good day hike, Big Cedar, because especially if you're not like, especially if you're still a beginner hiker, because like probably wouldn't take you quite as long to get to the top, but the view is just insane. Looking at myself in the screen, I look pretty pink. It's just as sunny as it was yesterday, but the wind has not hit us as hard. It feels amazing today. It feels so good today. We've actually had to shed layers. We've been sweating a little bit. We've been drinking way more water than we did yesterday. It's been pretty great. We're gonna push on just a little bit further. Maybe just try to call it a 10-mile day. And yeah, I mean, we're on time to get to the car on Sunday, but be nice if we got there earlier. I don't know if that's gonna happen. But we've been taking a pretty long break. I mean, we've been sitting here at Bly Gap for a while now.
Yeah, at least an hour and a half.
Yeah, about an hour and a half. We've just been sitting here because my feet are hurting. But also there's like an actual bathroom here, which was nice because like not only is it warm enough to like change your clothes and not just shiver your skin off the entire time, but like rather than having to try to change in the tent, there's an actual bathroom here where you could change in. That was good. We've also just been sitting here because we've been running into a lot of interesting people, been talking to a lot of people, and we ran into Murris. It was awesome. Murris is the dude that gave us the shuttle up to the top of Georgia on the first day. We were talking to a guy who was like, yeah, I got a shuttle coming. I'm being taken to the nearest hostel. And this little black truck coming up, and a little black Chihuahua mix dog jumps out of it. We're like, Murris! So we run over there and talk to him for like 20 minutes.
That guy was ready to go. That guy was
yeah, I think we kind of got on the guy's nerves. He was like the one trying to get the ride. Because we were sitting there just talking to Murris. And Murris can talk a lot. And I was like, oh, this poor dude right here just wants to get somewhere. And we're stopping him. Yeah, so we ran into some other people too. One of them walked up to us, you know, just making small talk, like, oh, were y'all through hikers? Oh, where are you going? He says, do y'all drink? It was very strange. He says, do y'all drink? You want some beer? We were like, oh no, I don't think beer would be very good for us right now. I mean, we have some Jack on us to mix with Coke when we can, but we don't want any beer. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, do y'all need somewhere to sleep tonight? Do y'all want to like come party with us and just sleep at the house? He's like, do y'all party? I don't like that question. Just the do y'all party question. That scared me so bad because it's like straight out of a movie. When somebody says, do y'all party? You expect like them to unroll a little sandwich bag full of something. I was just like, he didn't do that, but he asked, do y'all party? And I was like, I'm done with you. You can walk away now. Yeah, this dude, I mean, he was nice, but with the way he was acting, I was expecting him any minute to like quote Matthew McConaughey's character from Dazed and Confused. I was waiting for him any minute to just be like, alright. Okay, we only made it like 3/4 of a mile in after Bly Gap, but I really like the spot we found. It's grassy, big old fire pit. I don't know if it's still like too wet or anything to make a fire, but we may try. Couldn't get one started the first night by ourselves, so we ended up sitting next to one already made by some other people. But I think I heard people talking about this same spot on the way up here this morning because there's daffodils blooming up here. And like it feels so good up here. Like it's breezy, but it's still warm. We're gonna set the tent up right here, like probably kind of against this log, the door facing towards us. Yeah, obviously no one else up here yet, but we may make some friends tonight if anyone else ends up stopping here. Guys, we did it. We made a fire. It took a while. Like, we've been at this for a while. But look, it's catching so well. We did this with just toilet paper and flint and steel.
I am just so proud of this fire. It's my baby. Look at this go, guys. And it's amazing because like we picked a good spot to stop because these two like fallen trees right here and even what we're sitting on burn really well. Like it's not even dark yet. I wish you could like put this fire on pause and so we didn't have to like keep feeding it until it was dark and then just make it this big when it was dark, but we gotta keep feeding it. Okay, also I never thought these things would actually be worth it, but we have spaghetti tonight and you just like pour the boiling water right into the bag and it's so good. And the sun is gonna set any minute now, and this is our view from our fire and right outside the tent. This is probably the first sunset we've like actually caught and got to watch. Usually we're already in the tents, not caring about the sunset and just trying to fall asleep or rest our feet. Day 8, it's 7:45 in the morning. This is like the earliest start we've ever gotten. We got started as early as possible on purpose because we decided it needs to be a 16-mile day. It's Friday and we decided yesterday to make reservations for the Lendfoot hike-in for Saturday night, and then we realized now that we made the reservation, we can't cancel the reservation if we don't think we can make it in time because Jake won't get his money back. We're expecting another really warm day like yesterday, but I'm definitely waiting until the sun's right over my head before I take any layers off. I'm still wearing gloves, the beanie, everything. We're pretty much wearing all the clothes I brought with me right now. We're crossing a road right now, just a gravel road. This is, what's the name of this? Well, it's Suches Gap, but I don't remember the name of the road. What's so funny is like, pretty much the last gravel road we ever passed was way back at Bly Gap, where we ran into that trail angel named Lionheart, and he gave us the gloves. He's here too. We just ran into him again and grabbed a snack from him and talked to him some more. And while we were standing there, like some thru hikers stopped and we talked to them too. That's so crazy. Like we saw Murris yesterday and then saw Lionheart again today. Like people who like live up here and just like live the AT lifestyle, like you may run into them more than once. We're exactly 11.3 miles into today. We're at Hightower Gap. So we're officially on like page 1 of our National Geographic map, considering, you know, at the beginning of the week we started on page 6. We've walked our way all the way to page 1. Same page as, you know, Springer Mountain and Lendfoot hike-in and everything. So that's a big milestone for us. We're like, this gap right here is the landmark where we're like, we're officially on page 1. So we're like happy about that, but my feet are telling me to stop it. Hi, truck. Hi, wave at us. No? Okay. So we kind of popped this squat right here. Like my feet are hurting so bad. This is the ultralight tarp that we found at Neil Gap at Mountain Crossings in the hiker box. Like my feet are hurting so bad, my blisters are so bad that, ooh, don't look at my nails, they're like super dirty. My nails are so gross right now. I put the tarp out and put my sleeping pad out because like I just can't anymore. Like, well, I have to, but I can't anymore today. But this is what page 1 looks like. Like, there's Springer Mountain, there's where we need to be tomorrow, and we're right there.
Hello.
And as soon as we got here, someone was sitting pretty much where we are right now. The blisters on his feet were so bad that he has to be taken off the trail and like into town just to recover for a few days. That's how bad they were.
So they were 6 inches long.
They were 6 inches long on both his feet, the blisters were.
But what was funny was whoever picked him up just offered us pizza. He had like a box of pizza with him, and we each got a slice right before they drove off, so that was nice. And then before we leave, I'm also gonna like put some peanut butter on a spoon and just like squeeze a little bit of this on it with each spoonful I eat, because we don't have any like tortillas or bagels or bread or anything with us right now. And I've been drinking my Coke. I put a little in it because whatever it takes not to think of my feet anymore, I'll do it. Yeah, two of the things really slowing me down right now. One of them is, as you saw, as I was going up Blood Mountain, I went, oh, there goes my ankle. I nearly, for the past like 3 days, I have like nearly rolled my ankle several times. Not quite all the way, but I've heard it a few times over the past few days where it hurts kind of a lot right now. And so I guess been depending on my right foot a lot to do a lot of things, like taking the big steps and stuff. So my right foot is just covered in blisters right now. But we ran into somebody, you know, since Jake can just hike circles around me right now. And the woman's name was Holly, and she stopped me. She's like, come here, come sit by me, come take your shoes and socks off, and come put some of this moleskin on. I was like, moleskin? Like, that's not... She was like, I have moleskin. I was like, that sounds disgusting. But this is what moleskin is, and it's like stickers that kind of have like a felt texture. And she gave me some from her pack. She had like a whole bag of these, and she gave me these to keep. And you put these over your blisters, and they're supposed to prevent them from getting any bigger. The one on my heel has gotten bigger just since she's given me these. But I might not have stuck mine very well. Rule number 1 of the Appalachian. If you don't think your feet stink, or if they don't stink on your average day, living your normal life, you're in for a rude awakening when you hit the Appalachian Trail. Rule number 2, if you've been hiking for any more than 2 days, don't sit crisscross applesauce. Ew. Yeah, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's like, it just tastes like Vienna sausages.
That's all it is. It's just a smushed Vienna sausage square. That's all.
That's pretty good.
See? Yeah.
That was my first time trying Spam.
Spam.
Just wanted to finish out the day by saying, I didn't tell you what we hiked today. I mean, we hiked 12.5 miles today, which is our best day of the week. It's the furthest we're ever going to get in one day this week. But still a little disappointing at the same time because, you know, our big goal was to make it 16 miles. But 12.5 works too. I mean, tomorrow is 11.4 miles to get to hike in, so it's doable. Day 9? We're like 4.5 miles in, and we have just been like transported to like the rainforest. I don't know at what point we started walking, and I looked around, I was like, there's life everywhere, because everywhere else we've been has been like destroyed by windstorms recently. Meanwhile, I mean, any fallen trees around here have probably been fallen for a while, and there's just probably the biggest body of water we've seen so far. The air is very like misty because it rains, and also because of this running water right here. It's not muggy, it feels good. And I would say because of this humidity, like my nose is not running for the first time this week. Like, look at this thing. This is like, this may not look like much to you, but this is by far the deepest and widest river we've seen so far. Look at all that. Sometimes trail angels aren't present when they leave amazing things for you. Like, sometimes coolers will just be sitting here by themselves. This one had Mountain Dews in it, and a sandwich bag with like 2 cookies and a Rice Krispie treat ready to go. We're
at Hike-In, and I don't have much to say right now except on the way here, my feet were hurting so bad I probably just could have thrown up, but I didn't. I'm here, took my socks off, and I don't know when I'll be able to get up because they hurt so much just laying here right now.
Okay, so since they really highly discourage the use of cell phones around here, I'm just gonna show you the room itself, and I can explain what they have around here. But you have a screen door and a real door with frosted glass. I don't know whose rag and towel this is. It's not ours. I know at the beach and all to do that. Surely here they don't like that, so that's not us. Amazing views all around this building. Bunk beds. When you tell them 2 adults, I don't think they have any queen options. You always just get bunk beds here. That's your light. That's your fan. That's your heat. You can get heat in here, even though it feels pretty good here now. We probably won't use that. Since they don't offer laundry services here like we were hoping, we just have to let everything air out, so everything we may wear tomorrow is just hanging, and we're trying to get the outdoor air and this to really air it out as best as we can. It smells really bad in here right now. Yeah, bare minimum stuff, but I mean, if you'd like to live on bare minimum things without straight up roughing it, that's a good place to go. Hi! Look at my phone. Can you tell I belong out here? We're on our way down the ungodly amount of stairs at Amicalola Falls. There's a waterfall right behind me. By far the best night of sleep I've gotten this week was at Lenfoot. It was an amazing experience. It was well, first of all, it's a miracle we got a reservation there. Everybody we were talking to, all the people we were meeting last night, said that they had the reservations for last night months and months and months in advance. And we got really lucky, and one of the ladies we talked to, she was like, we were supposed to bring our whole extended family and some friends. We have 4 rooms reserved, and almost everybody bailed out. So you probably got one of the 2 rooms that we had to give up just last week or something like that. So it was a miracle that we got a reservation there. It was 3 days before the day. So we're almost all done. It's been really nice, the weather today. The clarity is awesome. The view's amazing. The sunset this morning was pretty great too. We got to watch that at Lenfoot, and the breakfast this morning at Lenfoot was pretty awesome too. The bacon was perfect, and they served peach cobbler for breakfast. So it was one of the best breakfasts I've ever had. Alright, it is day 10. It is March 18th. It's 12:25 p.m. and we are done. We're done. We've made it to the end. Alright, we got the car back. I'm gonna make final comments about our whole hike later, because there's a few complaints I have, and we'll go over those later. Okay, we're almost all the way home. So I'm going to finish this up by saying, I'm going to whine a little bit. You can probably tell on the day 9 clip that I wasn't in a very good mood. And one of those reasons is we got very lost at one point. Approaching Springer Mountain, if you're going southbound, and you're 4 miles out from finally getting to Springer Mountain, it begins to not be very well marked or blazed at all. We took a kinda trail at one point. It wasn't even a true trail, but it was somewhat of a space between trees where other footprints were, so we're maybe this is the trail, because there's no telling. Like, we were so lost, like lost in the woods. And we finally, on this weird thin trail we were on that was not the Appalachian, we finally crossed back into it. And we didn't know which way was north or southbound, so we had to just sit there and wait until another hiker came through, and we had to ask them if they were northbound or southbound, so we knew which way to go. That was really frustrating, and that happened a second time once we got into Amicalola State Park. I feel like if you were going northbound on the approach trail, it was very obvious where to go, but not so much going southbound. It's just not well marked, and it's just so frustrating. Like, trial and error on the trail is so frustrating, because like, when you're not sure where you are, the very last thing you want to do is hesitate and just stop and think, because you make no progress that way. All you can do if you're lost is like just keep moving forward, and because that's you're gonna find out you're in the wrong place sooner if you just keep pressing forward. You're like, yeah, this definitely isn't it. And it's just frustrating in general even if there's been no other side trails in the past like 10 minutes you've been hiking, and there's no chance that you're not on the Appalachian anymore. It's still frustrating anyway when you like haven't seen a blaze in like 10-15 minutes of hiking. That's a long time to go without seeing a blaze. I feel like that happens sometimes to us. So I mean, those are my complaints and my like warnings to you if you ever go southbound. And as for Linfoot, I didn't film very much there because they encourage no cell phones. It's a very like unplugged place. They don't like to see anybody on technology or anything. Like, obviously they don't offer Wi-Fi. There's no like outlets in the rooms. They do offer, because eventually you're gonna need it, like a charging station in the lobby. Where was I going with that? Oh, so I have absolutely no complaints about Linfoot. It was amazing. I didn't film much, so I'll leave some of it up to mystery. You can go see for yourself how awesome it is. They do welcome day hikers if you don't actually want to stay there, because it is hard to get a reservation there and it is a little expensive. You can just go look at it if you want. So no complaints about that place, but just some like warnings about it. Any trash you bring with you, you're expected to leave with. So if you bring your own like sacks of lunch or like bottles of soda or Powerade or water or anything, or snacks, anything with packaging, bring like a Kroger bag, bring a shopping bag, and put all your trash in there and expect to hike all the way back to your car with it. Because they're not going to take it, because they're not going to let you leave it there, because they're like a waste-free, they use all resources that are there, nothing gets wasted, and they're not just going to dispose of your trash for you. I had a few others besides the trash. Last night, while we were in the dining hall talking to some people, we saw 2 very big brown spiders.
Brown recluse spider.
And yeah, we're pretty sure they're brown recluses. They definitely were not wolf spiders, but they're big and they were brown, and so we're pretty sure they were brown recluses. So I guess my advice is never walk around there barefoot, and you should be okay. Always walk around in something that you're okay to stomp a spider with. So I have a few sentences that will start with I wish we would have, or maybe we should have, or maybe we shouldn't have. But one thing that we kept saying over and over again on the trail is no regrets. We don't regret anything we did this week. Everything, how it played out, whether it was frustrating or not, is what made this week special and is what made our story what it is. So do you have anything that you wouldn't change about the week, but you would say, I wish we would have done this, or we should have done this, or we shouldn't have done this? Well, for you, it's your sleeping bag is one thing you should have done differently.
I didn't even realize you were talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Something I should have done differently. Yeah, definitely the sleeping bag. I'd want to go when it was warmer. I know we really didn't have a choice. Just because it's spring break.
A different season would have been nice.
Yeah, a different season would have been great just because we could have just taken a hammock and not carried that tent. I mean, I don't really have any complaints. I mean, I loved my shoes. I love my boots, but I really think that either we both need to get some insoles for them or we just need to get a better quality boot.
That's one thing I was gonna say. Before I ever do an overnighter hike again, I'm gonna need probably to buy some more expensive. I'm gonna have to invest in some different socks because, like, I love Magellan brand stuff, but I'm worried that just the Magellan brand socks I used all week are what caused my blisters, and I need to try something else.
Darn tough socks.
Some darn tough socks probably is what I need.
Loved them.
And yeah, I definitely want some insoles in my boots. Even though I wouldn't change anything, even though I love having a new friend in Murris. Super awesome guy. He sent me a text just like 1 or 2 days ago saying, dude, I'm proud of you. Y'all are some hikers. Like, good job getting through this. Y'all experienced a lot this week. But y'all kicked butt. Blessings. Hope to hear from you again if you ever hike up here again. I'll give you another ride. Super awesome guy. But one thing we probably should have done, and I probably could have made happen if I did better research, because I've heard of Charlie's Creek Road, which is like a tough to drive on gravel road. Way closer than where we got dropped off to the border. But turns out I didn't find this out until we had like hiked across this gravel road. There's another road way smoother to drive on, but you still need a 4-wheel drive car or truck, called Bly Gap Road. And that's an even closer spot than Dix Creek to get dropped off to the border. You just need a 4-wheel drive shuttle driver.